Bill McCreary dropping it in. He called 20 penalties in the first period. 11 against the Maple Leafs. Chicago on the attack right off the bat. But it's Wendell Clark who is clearing the zone. Gets it back from Krushelnyski and labeled a shot. Belfour made the save. Roenick starts the Hawks away. Thomas, no room there against Elliott. Krushelnyski failed to get it out. Now he does on the second attempt, and he goes after it with Clark in front of the net. Here's Clark! And a nice save again. Clark trying to put a backhander in there by Belfour. Rouse, he missed it. Just about. That was hit by Thomas. Rouse trying to cover Thomas now in the corner. The Leaf player injured. Down goes Zezel in behind the net. I think hit with a high stick.
Gilbert, Bob, hooked Zezel right across the face. It may have bounced off Zezel's arm and up and hit him in the face, but Gilbert's the Hawk player that did it. And if Zezel's cut, he could be gone. It was an accident, but nevertheless, a careless stick is how the referee's going to look at it.
It'll be high sticking, the penalty call against Gilbert, and you'll see it here in behind the net.
Gilbert 14 for the Hawks. 25 Zezel gets away from him, and it did bounce off his glove and hit him right in the face.
4 minutes for high sticking at 53 seconds.
I felt that was coming. The rule this year, you can give him a double minor, and that's what he got. A 4-minute high sticking penalty.
Well, let's have another look at it. There's Gilbert chasing Zezel. He tries to hook him in the arm and bounces off his arm and gets him right in the face. And because it was accidental with no maliciousness intended and there's no blood, it's 4. The other one would have been 5 in the game. So the Leafs have a chance here, Bob, as Don Cherry said, to shut this crowd up, which will help their cause by scoring a power play goal or 2 on this long power play. There's Zezel. He doesn't look any worse for his wares, but you can see a little bump by the eye, right?
Okay, the face-off now to the right of Jeff Reese, who has shut him down so far in this evening. And the Leafs now with the extra man. Here's a shot, it's scored! Wilson fires it home! Well, that gets the crowd going.
Short-handed goal. Some careless play by the Leafs. And the point man was not covered at all. And Wilson comes in, jumps off the point when the Hawks are short-handed, and puts it in. And the Leafs get caught napping with a lot of guys standing around, and the score is 1-1. Now there are 18,000 penalty killers working for the Hawks.
That was a great shot by Wilson, who has one of the hardest shots in the league. Maybe not one of his patented shots, but nice and low and into the corner. There's Wilson hugging this shot and hanging on to it now. That stops the play.
Blackhawk goal is 6th of the season.
That's Doug Wilson's 80th point and 33rd goal in his 75th game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this is Wilson's 909th career game. Here's what's happened so far this season between these two teams. Toronto's won 1 and lost the other 4.
At the 1 minute mark.
At the 1 minute mark, as you just heard, Graham and Larmer assisted on the shorthanded goal by Doug Wilson. And that's number 6 on the season for this man. Doug Wilson tying it for Chicago.
And his 753rd career point. He's 4th among the all-time scorers for the Chicago Blackhawks.
The Leafs with Zezel, Marois, Dom Foose, who will now take the face-off as Zezel was waved out. Ramage and Elliott, the defenseman for Toronto. That is Roenick finding the opening along the boards inside of Ramage. Larmer in for checking. And he's a great penalty killer. for Chicago. Roenick is with him up front. Chelios and Conroyd are the defensemen. Belfour handles the puck well. Laid it up to Chelios. In it goes. Ellen back of the net. Larmer giving chase. Larmer steals the puck in there for Chicago. Hangs onto it now and dumps it off to the corner with Roenick inside the line. They stop the play with 1 minute and 57 seconds gone in the second period. A 1-1 tie.
Well, Steve Larmer has been a personal destroyer of the Toronto Maple Leafs. He has in 71 games 99 points, 38 of them goals against Toronto. Tonight is his 699th game and his 692nd consecutive game, which currently is the Iron Man record in the National League. And here he is jumping in to strip the Leafs, Dave Ellett, of the puck right here. You know, on a long power play like 4 minutes, it's often the players on the power play don't have the intensity they do on a 2-minute one. And the Leafs certainly look like that on this one.
Just like that major penalty we often talk about. You think you have so much time? There is lots of time. Well, it's running out on the 4-minute penalty now. 2:47 remaining in that penalty against Gilbert of Chicago.
Well, the Leafs have to readjust their sights. They came out, I'm sure, very pleased with the way the game was going in the first period. A fast, shorthanded goal against them in period 2, and they have to suck up and play the way they played for most of the first. Tom Watt, as I mentioned earlier, distraught about the Leafs' effort in recent games, but I would say this, the Leafs have given it a full effort so far tonight.
Larmer on this face-off for Chicago against Krushelnyski. Leafs control it. Frame in for checking. The Leafs are moving it out now. The defenseman Todd Gill finds Krushelnyski, and offside is called at the Chicago line. A bad break for the Maple Leafs as they seem to have it organized going in.
Well, Bradley tried to stay onside to give Krushelnyski a chance to get the puck over the line, but he just couldn't do it. And the Leafs had a dangerous rush going, but it doesn't go anywhere. The last 10 games have been disastrous. The last game the Leafs won, December 29th against Pittsburgh. And, of course, the Hawks have been on the roll, 7-2-1 in the last 10, first overall.
In the penalty, 2:36 left. Hawks killing this penalty. And a goal to boot by Wilson to tie the game. That's Ellett over there in the corner. Krushelnyski with him and around the net. Krushelnyski. Bradley on the move. Key coming back to help as Ellett takes the puck. And now up through the middle for Clark. He gets away from Graham and fires one into the Chicago zone. Krushelnyski going after it. Here comes Clark. But it's Chelios against Krushelnyski. He wins that. Ellett at the line, however, kept it in. Bradley moving off the boards with it. Clark trying to center it. Krushelnyski was parked in front of the net, but covered. Clark could not get it out anyway. Krushelnyski has it now for Petit. Petit back to him. Krushelnyski had to flick it off to the corner. Clark in there with Bradley, and Bradley scooped it back for Krushelnyski to Bradley again. Clark is in front of the net. Bradley covered now. Krushelnyski moves in center. Here's Clark, and he can't jam it in by Belfour. Clark again, lost it to Green. Green gets it out. The Hawks have 3 players skating up on this rush. Larmer! Oh, what a save by Reese. And a fine effort by Larmer coming in. And here we go again.
The Leaf defenseman Dave Ellett was hauled down in the rush, and that allowed Larmer to walk in all alone. And Jeff Reese made a big stop against the 4th scorer in the National League, number 28, Steve Larmer. And the Leafs were lucky that a second shorthanded goal wasn't scored on this 4-minute power play, and they have yet to get a shot at Ed Belfour. And here's the rush. You can see Ellett get knocked down here by Graham. Now the Leafs are in trouble because it ends up being a 2-on-1. And look at Larmer. Roars in. Petit thought he had a defense partner back with him, and he didn't. And Reese makes a nice stop. It looks to me like Michel Petit's going to get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. As he was heading to the Leaf bench, he made all kinds of comments and all kinds of signs at the Chicago bench. The referee saw it, and the Leafs 1 minute and 14 seconds left on the power play will disappear with this penalty. Unless they give a Chicago guy a penalty at the same time. I don't think so, though, Bob.
Here comes Petit now. He was on the Leaf bench.
Well, he was going to the Leaf bench.
And you couldn't hide there very long.
Number 22, Michel Petit. 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct at 3:39.
The referee, if he thinks that you're berating opponents, he can give you the unsportsmanlike penalty because they know that sometimes it causes problems. And so the Leafs, on a rather foolish play by Michel Petit, squander a chance to go ahead in this game because they had 1:14 left on the Gilbert 4-minute penalty.
Doug Wilson has tied the game here in the second period. For Chicago, a shorthanded goal. The Leafs had a power play goal in the first period by Foligno. And here's Murray stealing it, centered it. Only Leafs in front of the net, and Dom Foose was one of them. Now he has to circle back to Ellen. Ellen at center. Crosses the line, but they're offside again. Dom Foose thought Ellen was about to shoot it in, and he was offside at that far right wing.
Peter Zezel, a 3-game point streak with 6 points in his 3 games with the Leafs. 25-year-old centerman, I think will be a real asset to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Coming over from Washington. He played junior hockey in Toronto for Marlboroughs, 83-84. He had 133 points. And, of course, was drafted by the Flyers, then went to St. Louis, and to Washington, and now with the Leafs.
And he's on there now, squaring off with Mike Hudson of Chicago. Just outside the Blackhawk line, and Manson flipped it back. Yanni has to go in behind the net. Zezel parks himself in front of the goaltender, Ed Belfour, but the Hawks get by, and up the center. Presley in for Hudson. Hudson jams on the brakes in the corner and gets out in front. The low backhander best. Dom Foose on the puck. Took a hit from Hudson. Ramage behind the net. Trying to play it away. It's Manson keeping it in. Yanni on the other side had to hurry a pass off the boards. Into the corner it goes, and Dom Foose, the first one there, but Manson knocked it off his stick. Presley back. But they hold it in on the boards, and now they stop the play as 2 players fell to the ice. Play is stopped. And here's Ron McLean with this update.
Thank you, Bob. Mario Lemieux's back in Quebec City this evening. I have a hunch his spine's tingling right now. His boyhood idol, Guy Lafleur, in vintage Lafleur style, snaps home a goal for the Nordiques. It's Pittsburgh 3, Quebec 2 in the second at Le Colisée.
Well, the momentum here, Bob, is switched to the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Leafs have to calm down and get their act together and play the way they played for 20 minutes. That shorthanded goal has put them on their heels.
9 seconds from now, the Blackhawks will be on the power play, and they'll enjoy that for 44 seconds. Face off to the left of Reese. Gilbert ready to leave the penalty box. Roenick and Larmer. Doug Wilson for Chicago, who has scored the Blackhawk goal, is a defenseman with Chelios. Now they drop it in, finally, and the Chelios at the line for Wilson again. Shoots, scores! Wilson again! Just back from Florida, well suntanned, and boy is he hot tonight.
Well, he's got one of the fine shots from the blue line. Not only is it hard, but it often is on the net. I wonder if it was tipped or did it go straight in. Here's another look at it. This is what Reese sees. Oh, it went straight in on him, although you can see Roenick in front of the goal tried to get a stick on it. May have distracted Reese a little bit. And the Hawks scored that with 3 seconds left in the penalty to Gilbert, so it was not a power play goal. It was a goal scored with 4 skaters against 4.
So 4:50 the time of that goal, as Larmer nearly went in there again and walked in front of Jeff Reese. The Blackhawks have the man advantage now, and Larmer is behind the net. Hooked it with a skate. Back to the line to Wilson. They want him to shoot it again. He might. Reese stopped it. Cleared on the boards, and Roenick stopped it again. Now Larmer from Wilson. Back to Chelios and Larmer. Larmer side of the net, centered again. Reed is going to clear it for Toronto. Gets to center and keeps going. Reed stopped by Wilson. Finally, and on the boards. 8 seconds left on the Chicago power play. They're leading 2-1. Molino for the Maple Leafs. 2 goals here in the second by Doug Wilson. Petit out of the penalty box, and what timing that was. The Leafs are in, and Foligno, glove save, Belfour on a bullet on the right side, and Belfour gets a hand.
The right time. Michel Petit surprised Steve Larmer, stepped out of the penalty box and walked into him. And there you see a collision. And here's a nice stop by Belfour on a real hard shot from the top of the circle. See him out at the top of the circular crease. Watch that puck right into his glove. He's as sharp as a tack.
Wilson, 2 goals here in the second, and his second was from Chelios and Roenick at 4:50. That's his 7th of the season. His first goal while Chicago was killing a penalty. 2-1 Chicago. Maple Leafs, Todd Gill backhands it in. The Leafs clear the zone. And Presley tips it down the ice. Todd Gill is back with Ramage. Gill takes a look. He had to hurry that one as the Hawks start to pour it on a bit now. He didn't have any time at all to think about making a play. The Porteckers were in on top of him. Here's Clark. Can't get a shot through. It hit Manson on the leg. Clark bumped by Creighton. Manson takes over. Out for Chicago. To center on the right side is Thomas, and he has to chase it. The goaltender, Jeff Reese, tried to play it away. Thomas stopped it. Creighton is in there with him. Thomas working the corner well, and a hard shot by Graham just missed. Leafs get it out. This is going to be icing. If the goaltender plays it now. No icing, of course. Belfour had to move it. But a good effort by Clark, and now he's in front and can't shoot it. Moving up, Petit centered it. And the Hawks cover in front of it, Belfour. Graham picked the opening and cleared it to Thomas. Here's his shot, picked out by Reese. Murray fired it back at the net. Thomas, however, was going off. Graham in against McGuire. Hawks on the puck. Gilbert didn't see the pass. Chelios fired one to the far side. Graham tried to center to Gilbert. Did. And a high shot off the glass. Chelios again missed the net with a shot. Here's Wilson. Knocked it in back of the goal. Centered. Leafs running around inside the blue line now. And a penalty coming up against Toronto. Belfour leaving the net. The play is now called. And again, they mill around to the right of Jeff Reese.
Luke Richardson's got the first penalty for cross-checking, but now we have Dirk Graham and Luke Richardson going, and Graham can throw.
And the crowd calling the shots.
Well, Luke Richardson was really upset at Gilbert in front of the net, and he gave him an awful cross-check to the head, dropped his gloves and took a punch at him. And then Dirk Graham came in to the rescue of Gilbert, and Richardson got into it.
We'll be right back after this message. Bad news for the Maple Leafs.
Well, they're going to get the extra penalty by the look of it.
Toronto penalty.
And here's how it started. Watch Richardson 2 and Gilbert 4. Now watch it. Not yet. Not yet. Here it is right here. That's the penalty, the initial penalty. Then Richardson jumps Gilbert. Gilbert doesn't want to get being involved at all with Richardson, and Graham comes in and asks Richardson what's bothering him, and the next thing, they're in it.
At 7:42.
So Graham and Richardson get 5, and Richardson gets an extra 2. The Leafs will be having to kill a penalty again. And the crowd was really jumping when that fight was on. the 18,000+, a lively, young, enthusiastic group.
All right, at 7:42. Richardson of the Maple Leafs, a minor, and that was for cross-checking. You saw it. And then the Fighting Major, along with Bream of Chicago. Doug Wilson has scored 2 goals here in the second period after Foligno had given the Leafs a first period 1-0 lead. So it's 2-1 Chicago. And again the Blackhawks with a big line of Roenick, Larmer, and Goulet. Wilson and Chelios are the defensemen. That's not a bad quintet.
No wonder they got the second best power play in the league when you look at these 5 guys.
Cecil and Broughton for the Maple Leafs, but here's Goulet. Centered it. Score! Wow!
Two of the 3 Hawk goals have come almost right off faceoffs. The first one right off the faceoff deep in the Leaf zone. This one right off the faceoff outside the Leaf blue line. And the 3 Leafs get mesmerized, and the next thing you know, it's a 2-on-1. The pass never gets to Jeremy Roenick. It hits Reese in the right leg and bounces between, and I think they're going to have to change that goal, Bob. Roenick was there to put it in, but it never got to him.
It hit the skate of Reese, no question, and got in behind him. It is 3-1 Chicago. And that's a power play goal for the Blackhawks. They have now shut the Maple Leafs 22-14. And they keep coming. Chelios, his pass. Back in front to Roenick. And he couldn't get it on the backhand. Bounced all the way back inside the Chicago line. Roenick missed it. And Wilson will take it back again. Circled in front of Belfour for Chelios. Chelios and Wilson. To Larmer. And now Roenick. Now he's clever. Watch him. A good move on Todd Gill. But he couldn't catch up to the puck. Near center ice. Flip back in, and the Hawks are going to make changes. Larmer's the first to go off. Puck is shot in, and Presley comes back, and the Leafs are making changes now. Nearing the 9-minute mark of the second period, Chicago have opened up a 3-1 lead against the Maple Leafs. Presley stopped at the Leaf line. Ellis long pass. Down the ice, icing waved off, and Manson has to hurry back, but the goaltender tried to move it out. Long shot by Rouse, and there was Foligno parked on the doorstep and just missed a great chance. Puck over the boards at the penalty box, and it stops the play with 10:53 left in the second period. Officially, they have given the goal to Roenick, but you, thanks to our cameras, know the difference.
Well, here's a look from behind Reese. The pass comes across in front of the net. Roenick's all ready to put it in, but you can see it never got to him. And it either went off the Leaf defenseman coming back, or Aaron Broughton coming back, or Jeff Reese. And I think Roenick, who was shaking his head on the bench, will make the change. We'll ask Jeremy, will Ron McLean, are you going to take that goal, even though you didn't score it? I doubt it.
7:49 was the time, and it was a power play goal, and no matter, it's a 3-1 lead for Chicago. Hart is turning at center ice. A good move getting away, and then his shot is deflected by Conroy, and that goes high into the crowd.
Well, Roenick, an all-around hockey player. He's tied for 4th in the National League in the plus-minus department with 23 in his last 9 games. And the first half of this one, he's got 18 points. And against the Leafs this year, this being the 6th game, he has 8 points. So it's going to be an interesting guest for Ron McLean to talk to. And we have a little feature on Mike Keenan. Show you the other side, and it's a very pleasant side of Mike Keenan.
He has been a very successful coach in the National Hockey League. No doubt about that. He's got great plans for this Blackhawk team this year. They're a good club, and here they come at the Maple Leafs. Presley dropped it back, and a hard shot by Manson is deflected by Jeff Reese. Shots now have gone to 23-14 for Chicago. And they have that 2-goal lead. like this, the goal scorer. Well, that was wrong. We told you it would be. Here's the goal scorer. They've changed it. Michel Goulet, his 17th.
And his 477th of his career.
Hawks attacking relentlessly now against the Maple Leafs, who had scored the first goal of the game. Polino had it. Leafs trying to clear their own zone. Petit knocked down. Puck gets out to Bradley. McGuire hit his man, and Bradley on the puck. Coming in. Bradley tried to go for the net. He got in there, and it was nailed. The Hawks get it out. Lemieux rolled it up the center. Hudson went after it. He fell. McGuire knocked down inside the line. Here's Petit. Across center. Flip one in. He was hit by McGill and answered. Gill turned to look to see what had happened. McGill just skated away.
Well, it's fairly apparent, at least in this period, the first half of this period with 9:31 to go in it, that the Leafs couldn't keep the intensity that they showed in the first period up in the second period, and as a result have fallen behind 3-1. They're being outshot 23-14, and they're being outplayed, out-hustled, and out-bumped. And this is going to be a long night for the Leafs if they don't get things turned around right now.
Cecil for Toronto. Dumfries and Marwal on the wings. Elliott and Rouse, the defenseman. Chelios and Yanni for Chicago. This is Yanni. Going to Gilbert. He's on with Murray and Thomas. There's Thomas trying to clear the zone for the Blackhawks. Elliott stopped it. Hit Thomas with it, though, and he's away. Can't catch up to it. Lost his stick. Trying to kick it over for Troy Murray. Murray covered. Leafs move it out. Marwal couldn't get away at center ice. Here's Dumfries. Brought it in over the line. Took a look at the net. Played it in. Cecil came close with that quick shot. Just missed. And a penalty coming up on the play. Yanni of the Chicago Blackhawks taking the Leaf player to the ice. And he is going off.
Blackhawk penalty number 8.
There's a stranger, number 11, Gary Lehman. He's been in the penalty box for 17 minutes. He must feel like his legs are on upside down and his sweaty underwear is dried out completely. He needs a warm-up as much as anything else. And the Leafs have a power play, and Lehman, who practiced this morning, where the Leafs did work hard in their power play playing on the point, is not on it at the moment.
Lehman at the 12-minute mark of the first period went off for roughing, unsportsmanlike conduct, fighting, misconduct. Elliott couldn't stop the puck at the blue line, and it's all the way back to the Leaf net for Ramage. Larmer around the net chasing him. Elliott brings it to the line and stick handled away from Chelios. Leafs are offside again. 3 of them going in, and Dumfries was ahead of the play. We have another update. Here's Ron McLean.
Once again, action from Quebec City, where Mario Lemieux and the Penguins are facing the Nordiques. Score 4-2 in the third period. Mario sends it back to the blue line. John Cullen in front to deflect home the shot from the point. A power play goal for Pittsburgh. 3 points for Lemieux, and they lead by 3 in the third.
Lemieux still has a chance to win the scoring, doesn't he?
Larmer turns at center. No, he doesn't.
No, you're right. I'm only kidding. He might come second.
Great to see him back and playing well, though. Obviously playing well. And hopefully feeling great. Marwal shoots it in. Belfort stepping out on the glass. Knocked down at the line. And Ramage had to hurry a pass. Cecil missed, knocking it over to one side. And here's Wilson again. The crowd is with him tonight. They were on him a bit Thursday night against Buffalo when the Hawks lost. But he's got 2 goals in this game tonight and has been one of the standouts for the Blackhawks. 7:44 remaining in the second period. Here's Ron McLean.
Pittsburgh went into the game in Quebec this evening leading the NHL in scoring with 215 goals, better than Calgary, who had 203. Here's Paul Coffey scoring now to make it 6-2. It's the Pens in a breeze at Quebec.
Well, not a big surprise for Pittsburgh to be so far ahead of the Quebec Nordiques, another team in the National Hockey League, having such a A rough year.
It's an awful race between Quebec and the Leafs to see who's going to finish last. Neither team looking like they're going to do much about catching or passing the other one.
Toronto 0 for 3 in the power play tonight. And remember, Wilson had a shorthanded goal. Whoa! Lehman missed, fired at the blue line, and Gilbert nearly had a chance to skate away home free. 35 seconds left.